I gave him flowers. Yes. Yeah.
I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. Bob, is there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt the agenda? Motion second to adopt the agenda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Need approval of the January 24, 2013 minutes, or any corrections or additions need to be noted at this time. Motion second to approve the minutes of January 24, 2013. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, and those minutes are now official. Council members, any in the audience? I hadn't seen any, but is there anyone? Who?
Banks.
Banks. Anybody else want to speak? Okay. All right. Bob, items to be deferred or withdrawn?
Yes, there are several items to be deferred. The first item for deferral is item 1A, 2013 CP-012-001. This is the Southeast Nashville Plan Amendment. This is a request to amend the Southeast Community Plan to change from conservation, residential low, medium, and corridor general policies to suburban neighborhood evolving, suburban neighborhood center, and natural conservation policies for properties located at the southwest corner of Holt Road and Nolensville Pike. Staff recommendation is to defer this to the March 14th, 2013 Planning Commission meeting. The next item is on page 5 of the agenda, item 1B, 2013 SP-005-001, the Villages at Holt Road. This is a request to rezone from AR2A to specific plan on properties located at the southwest corner of Nolensville Road and Holt Road to permit a mixed-use development. Staff recommendation is to defer this item to the March 14th, 2013 Planning Commission meeting as well. The next item is item number 2 on page 5 of your agenda, 2013 SP-001-001, the Worthy and Worthy SP. This is a request to rezone from RS5 to SP zoning and for final site plan approval for properties located at 1729 and 1731 Knowles Street to permit a maximum of 5 residential units. Staff recommendation is to defer this to the March 14th, 2013 Planning Commission meeting as well. And the last item on the deferral list is item number 9, 2013 SP-008-001 on page 7 of your agenda, Cathedral Homes Park. This is a request to rezone from RS5 to SP zoning for properties located at the northeast corner of Sevier Street and South 18th Street to permit up to 10 detached single-family dwelling units. Staff recommendation is to defer to the February 28th, 2013 Commission meeting.
Okay. Commissioners, you've heard the request from the staff that items 1A, 1B, item 2, and item 9 be deferred.
Motion.
Motion second to defer. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Those items have been deferred. Items on consent.
Yes, there are several items on consent, but before I get to those, I will read this as information for our audience. If you are not satisfied with the decision made by the Planning Commission today, you may appeal the decision by petitioning for a writ of cert with the Davidson County Chancery or Circuit Court. Your appeal must be filed within 60 days of the date of entry of the Planning Commission's decision. To ensure that your appeal is filed in a timely manner and that all procedural requirements have been met, please be advised that you should contact independent legal counsel. Items on the consent. As noticed to the public, items on the consent agenda will be voted on at a single time. No individual public hearing will be held, nor will the Commission debate these items unless a member of the audience or the Commission requests that the item be removed from the consent agenda. So as I read the items listed on our consent agenda, if anyone wants to have that removed, please raise your hand. First item is item number 3, 2013 S-001-001. This is on page 5. This is the Bradley Point subdivision. This is a request for concept plan approval to create 5 lots on property located at 3007 Lakeshore Drive, zoned RS5. Staff recommends approval with conditions. The next item is item number 5 on page 6 of your agenda. This is 2013Z-003TX-001. This is the Downtown Code signage regulations. This is a request to amend the Metropolitan Zoning Code by adding various regulations for signage in the Downtown Code area. Staff recommendation is to approve. Next item is item 6. This is 2013Z-005TX-001 on page 6 of your agenda. This is the Community Education Text Amendment. This is a request to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code, the zoning regulations, to add community education as a permitted use in the CA, SCC, and SCR zoning districts. The staff recommendation is to approve. Next item is item 7. This is 2013Z-006TX-001, Automobile-Related Uses Text Amendment. This is a request to amend various sections of the Metropolitan Zoning Code pertaining to specific automobile-related uses by modifying the zoning district's specific automobile-related uses, the zoning districts where specific automobile-related uses are permitted. Staff recommends approval. Next item is item 8. This is 2013 SP-006-001 on page 7 of your agenda. This is the Wrecker Service and Transmission Shop, SP. This is a request to rezone from CS to SP zoning properties located at 1119 Old Hickory Boulevard and Old Hickory Boulevard unnumbered to permit automobile repair and wrecker service. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions. Item number 10 is the next item on the consent agenda. This is 2012 NL-002-002, the ICM Foundation Neighborhood Landmark. This is a request for approval of a neighborhood landmark development plan for property located at 608 Shelby Avenue. Property is zoned R8 and located within the Edgefield Historic Preservation Overlay District to permit retail, office general, and religious institution uses. Staff recommends approval. And there's also a revised development plan at your desk that had a housekeeping change on it that was minor.
Okay.
Next item under other, on the consent agenda is other business item, number 11. This is a contract between the Greater Nashville Regional Council and the Nashville-Davidson County Metropolitan Planning Commission on behalf of the Nashville Area MPO for multimodal planning and public involvement. Staff recommends approval. The next item is item 12. This is a contract between the Nashville-Davidson County Metropolitan Planning Commission on behalf of the Nashville Area MPO and Parsons Brinkerhoff for general planning consultant services. Next item is item 13. On item 12, staff recommends approval. On item 13, this is a contract between the Nashville-Davidson County Metropolitan Planning Commission on behalf of the Nashville Area MPO and Cambridge Systematics for general planning and consultant services, and staff recommends approval. And the last item on the consent agenda is item 14. This is a contract between the Nashville-Davidson County Planning Commission on behalf of the Nashville Area MPO and Resource Systems Group for general planning and consultant services, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Bob. You have a question?
Mr. Chairman, I understand number 11. What are items 12, 13, and 14 for?
The MPO has these are basically contracts to develop the 2040 Regional Transportation Plan, and these are the 3 consultants that the MPO has hired, and they've done those individually. So.
Perfect. Thank you for the explanation.
Commissioners, you've heard from the staff that after their review that they've asked that items 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 be voted on by consent. Is there a motion for that?
Move approval of consent agenda. Second.
Motion second to approve those by consent. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those items have now been approved. For members of the audience, the only item that will be considered by the commission today is the item number 4, which is Woodmont. So if you're in the audience for any other reason and wish to stay, we'd be glad to have you. If not, we'll excuse you. Before we take up item 4, overlook a personal thing I wanted to do was welcome Kerry Logan back to the staff. I wasn't here last time when they voted on your contract, but welcome back to the very efficient crew or staff. So be sure you don't let them down. But welcome back here. Glad to have you back. Thank you. Commissioners, there has been a request to reopen the public hearing on item 4. And that can be done only if one of the commissioners makes a motion to do that, and there's a second, and then it's voted on and approved. Checking with the council or staff council, that could be the reasons to reopen would be if the plan has changed since 2 weeks ago, or if there's new information. So.
Chairman, have we received either of those? Do we know if the plan has changed or if we've received any new information?
No, none that I've been made aware of or the staff has been made aware of. Hearing no motion, no second, then I declare the public hearing will not be reopened. I have viewed for the last hour and a half plus the video from last meeting. Since I wasn't here, I did over the staff earlier, and pretty well up to speed on what was discussed from the audience and from the commissioners. So, Councilman, I'm going to start with you and we'll make a decision.
Well, I don't think that I've moved from where I was when we were here at the last meeting. Is my understanding it's very plain that we're being asked to confirm that 3 conditions have been met. We've been assured of that by staff. Our legal counsel has reiterated that that is a correct assumption. And in the absence of no other information that would contradict that, then I see no reason to move ahead with the vote.
Bill?
Councilman pretty well expresses my sentiments on it. I certainly understand concerns from the community and appreciate their continued concern, particularly since the last meeting. But since there's really no new evidence, I would have to stay with my thoughts from the initial meeting.
Judy?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I, too, have not received any additional information that would create any kind of change or new conversation that I can share. Thank you.
Do we know the results of the meeting between the neighborhood and the applicant? I think the purpose of our deferral was to encourage that meeting to take place.
Planning staff hasn't been giving anything physical to describe the outcome or the content of that meeting, but it was held on February 5th. To my knowledge, it was organized by Councilman McGuire.
The only thing is we did not receive any changed plan. That would be.
That's all I've got.
Derek? Greg?
Well, I've gotten a lot more, I've seen a lot more correspondence from some of the neighborhood. And I guess there's some new folks, some new citizens here that were not here last time. For me, I think it's important to explain that this is a very serious thing, and reiterate what I had said last time was, this is not a zoning change. It's a subdivision approval, which is a lot different than a zoning change. I think it's important to note that under the current right of the property owners, they could build, I think it was, could the staff remind me what they could currently build? I think it was 4 different duplexes. Is it 4 duplexes or 3 duplexes or what was?
Under the current zoning and lot configuration, they could build a duplex on each lot, a detached duplex, for a total of 4 units.
For a total of 4 units. And could they subdivide a lot under the current right?
The zoning would technically allow the square footage of the site combined with the zoning would technically allow a subdivision of up to 7 lots, and one of those lots could be a duplex. Again, that's subject to meeting all the subdivision regulations, but that would be the maximum under the current zoning.
Okay, thank you. And I think my vote stays the same, is that, while I'm not in favor of doing the, personally, this particular subdivision and the way it's, because of the historical nature of the lot and the house and all of that. But if you look specifically at our rules, I feel like there's really not something that logically I could vote against this. So I just want everybody to know that this is a very serious thing, and that's kind of how I feel like my hands are tied. I can't speak for other commissioners, but I just wanted to explain why I'm going to vote for it.
Andre?
We didn't hear anything more from Councilman McGuire following the meeting? No input from that?
We didn't receive anything from Councilman McGuire, no.
Well, for those of you who weren't here last time, we did talk about it in depth at our last meeting. One question that I had, given that there are lots of things that were discussed that the public brought up and that the various departments have brought up, that I would like to, it sounds like from my colleagues that we're going to move forward with this, I would like to request that we get to see the next stage back here in front of the commission. Because I think there are a lot of issues that the public felt uncomfortable might not happen the way they think it's going to, and I think it's our responsibility to be sure that if we're believing that they are, that we look at it and check and be sure that they are done the way that we all think we're voting for it to be done. And so I would like to add that request, if we're going to make a motion, that it come back to us for the next review before it goes on. Okay.
Andre, if you go ahead and make the motion and add that to it.
I'm not excited about that, no. Let's go.
Greg? Okay.
I move we approve with the conditions that are stated and including that the plan comes back to the Planning Commission.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? One nay. Okay. All right. That is the end of item 4. Phil, do you have anything from the council? Phil, do you have anything from the parks?
No, our next meeting will be our next meeting for the Parks Board will be the first Tuesday in March at noontime at the Parks Department.
Rick, if you'd bring us up to date on
well, you jumped ahead of me in welcoming Carrie back. We got her back and appreciate that. As I think everyone knows, Ann Hammond's last meeting with us the next meeting will be her last meeting. She's retiring on February 28th, and we appreciate the work that she has done. She was able to show her dog at the Westminster Dog Show and came in second, right, in her class. So we're proud of that.
That was her sheepdog. Yeah, sheepdog was her.
What Irish sheepdog? Irish wolf? Scottish deerhound
I've
classification.
seen him.
Big.
I'm walking with him.
Yeah, big dog. Very big dog. Anyway, we want to commend her on that. They looked good. As I think most of you know, the general plan process, the Nashville Next process kicks off. It starts its public participation activities this weekend. On Saturday, the 16th, it'll begin at the library. 10 o'clock to around 11:15, 11:20 is going to be an open house. We've got a lot of activities for people to participate in of all ages. We have children activities and all. At 11:20, we'll begin the actual presentation. That's sponsored by GNAR, Southern Land, Regions Home, and Gresham Smith are sponsoring the first speaker series. And it will include Governor Paris Glendening, who's the president of Smart Growth America's Leadership Council, and Mayor Dean will also be there to give his charge. And then we'll close that with another open house at the end of that, and it's at the library, the main library downtown, beginning at about 11:15 if you want to come for the presentation. I also want to point out that
What time do you anticipate that to be finished?
that will be an hour, no more than an hour and a half of that part.
So around
Yeah.
12.
We're also starting that. We're starting all of our series with an art component to showcase the variety of art talent in this community. And we have presentations from the Spoken Word Group, which is a teen poet group here in town, and they're going to make a couple of presentations. And roughly, each one of these are going to go about 15 minutes of art in one form or another, a 45-minute presentation, and then 30 minutes for questions. And that's generally how they'll go as they go through here. But I want to point out that beginning on February 25th, which is Monday evening, we're going to start the process for the next 6 weeks. 6 speeches will be every other Monday, and the one on the 25th is on demographics, equity, inclusion, and diversity. The title of that's "The Changing Faces of America: The Opportunities and Challenges of 21st Century Demographics." And Mitch Silver, who is the president of American Planning Association and also planning director for the city of Raleigh, North Carolina, will be here. He speaks on this all across the world on this topic, and is extremely both knowledgeable and just a compelling speaker in terms of his presentation. That's Monday, February 25th at 5:30, and that will be at Scarrett Bennett. And we'll get that information, but I just wanted to make sure that that's out there. I think all of you have been invited tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Governor Glendening is going to be in our office for an hour for a sit-down discussion. We've invited the steering committee members and all the planning commission members and others. So this is just an ad hoc opportunity to meet the governor, talk with him about his experiences. Governor Glendening's a pretty dramatic person. He has a doctorate in political science from Florida State University. He taught for over 25 years at the University of Maryland, and he kind of worked his way up. He was a council member, I think, in Prince George County, and became the county executive, and then ultimately became the governor of Maryland, and has worked in the area of smart growth for a long time. So, pretty knowledgeable individual. So I just wanted to highlight those and encourage you to be there. We have Channel 5 will be running a spot, a 30-second spot on the Nashville Next project, and hopefully there'll be an awful lot of interest and information out there, a lot of ways for people to get involved. And the focus of this project is to actively get all groups of this community involved, especially those groups that haven't historically been involved in the planning process. So we're spending a lot of time and a lot of energy in terms of reaching out to those segments of the community as we go forward.
Thank you. Be sure, since Ann's retiring, that whoever would be responsible for keeping us apprised of the continuing education opportunities to be sure and do that. And then there is a work session 2 weeks from today on February 28th at 2 o'clock. So remind you of that. Any commissioners want to make any comments? Or
It's 2:30 on the 28th.
2:30,
right.
Okay.
Right.
You'll get an email on it. So.
Item 15.
Item 15. Oh, sorry. Just a page. Okay. Kelly, I guess we need to start looking at retreat dates and availability of the mayor. His wishes sometime coming up in March, April, or most of you open those 2 months. Be on a Saturday morning from about 8:30 to around 1 o'clock. Just see what's available in March, probably starting about mid-March, which would be 4 weeks from now through the end of April. And I think Easter weekend is maybe the last weekend of March, so be aware of that. Is that the only thing I missed? Any other notations? Adjourned.
Thank you.